the Native American population is especially multiracial. It means students who walk into your classroom, they might look white, or look black, or look brown, or look racially ambiguous, like you just can't tell, but they may have still a very strong Indigenous identity. And most of us, when you really start drilling into it, have some sort of complicated mathematical equation when you ask them, like, who are your people? So I think, and by the way, this is an irony. I don't know if it will be upsetting or a relief to people, but human beings continue to move around this planet, fall in love, make babies. Diversity is everywhere. We're actually just about 20 years away from the majority of the British population being non-white. Great Britain, you know? And so it's happening everywhere. It's an irony too, because like the more diverse we become, in the end, the more homogeneous we will be. Does that make sense? The more diverse we become, the more we're bumping into each other, the more all these intersections across different groups of people, right? Like, if you're lucky enough to have kids and grandkids, chances are there are going to be all kinds of people in the population of your own grandkids. And that actually does all kinds of things. How are you not going to love your own grandkids? And how are you not going to champion their concerns and interests and protect them? And we, in the long run, start looking out for each other. And it can help us think a little more about justice instead of just us. That's not a guaranteed result, but the demography is going to affect things. And some of the effects will be positive. I think in the short run, you're seeing some people freaking out about changes in demography. And look at American politics and you can get all kinds of examples of that. It's interesting and ironic, but there's an internal Native American conversation about who's Native and who decides. And it's testy. And I think the reasons include that, first of all, I've never met an elder from any group who did not say, look, oh, kids these days. There's always a tension about cultural change and things changing too fast. And this is not a political statement in any way, but really conservative philosophy is keep things the same. Don't change too fast. And progressive thinking is change things and change them faster. If you really think about it just in philosophical terms, there's a value to both. There's a value to community cohesion and cultural cohesion. There's a value in an Indigenous context, keeping a language alive and things like that. And there's a value to changing things, like we must change our healthcare system and economic systems and all kinds of things. And so the fact that there's a tension between those means we're humans and there's more than two of us in a room. It's normal that there should be some tension about that. However, I think the impulse to protect and keep things the way they are and not change too fast can sometimes stir up negative responses. In my view, what's happening inside of Native communities, Natives trying to out-Indian one another, or you might have heard about pretendian takedowns and issues with regard to tribal enrollment. I think that has a lot of Native people feeling unaccepted by their own people. And it's painful for a lot of folks. And when you look at the Native population, a third of us have been adopted and fostered out of our community of origin. And so that's an internal dynamic going on. By the way, we have the same dynamic going on in the United States, where there's a conversation about who's really American and who decides. And that affects immigration policies and our response to how they should be enforced and all kinds of things. So it makes things tense, and it leaves some people feeling not accepted, not included. Not to mention all the other things. So it's good to be aware of that because it's affecting all kinds of people. So it can affect things like a school district's effort to get good data on who their Native students are. Because some Native families are like, I don't know if I should click the box if my kid's not an enrolled member of a federally recognized tribe, even if they are Native by identity and culture. And so Native populations are historically undercounted for a variety of reasons. So the change from the 2010 to the 2020 census was all kinds of things. Letting us click more than one box was one, and the multiracial dimensions of a lot of the Native population, but it's also Native people trying to figure out, should I ask to be counted or not? Also, just think about the labels. Is it Indian, American Indian, Native, Native American, Aboriginal, Indigenous, First Nation person, or what? And there's nothing like not even knowing the vocabulary to really immobilize a conversation. And here, we're like right next to Canada. There are a lot of First Nations people from Canada in the United States who may not want to click American Indian. But the statutes, including these ones, use exactly those words.